Uh, let's get start with test levels. What are different test levels? Uh, I know it's very hard, to remember this theory part, but yeah, so we have to spend some time, maybe multiple times reading. That only will help you. So other than that, it's very difficult. I know. Okay, so test levels. Okay, yeah. So these are the different test environments. Even I added, so what is mean by development environment? What is integration environment? Staging environment, user acceptance testing environment, production environment, performance testing environment, security testing environment. So experimental environment, all this, but mostly till 5 we will do. But this the performance team is separate. So we are functional testers. Okay. Performance testing team is separate. And security testing team is separate. So all three types of teams I already explained you. Functional testing team, performance team, security team. All three are different, but all comes under testing on. But three different teams. Now, so what are the different test levels in each environment you will perform, right? So what you call them? Okay, so for example, you development environment. So the developer will perform unit testing. So what is unit testing? Testing the each and every micro function of the application. Micro function means writing a function, right? A methods you will develop. That method is going to test by giving some data. By giving some data. So that's what unit testing is. You will check whether that uh, unit testing that unit is working or not. That function is working or not, the dummy data or whatever the data, test data, if you give, whether it is working or not, you are going to check that. So that is the unit testing is. It is performed by developers on the developer environment. So on the developer environment. So I hope it's clear, right?
Unit testing is for developers, sorry.
Yeah. So unit testing is performed by developers. On the on the development environment, so it will be performed. Okay, next kind of testing. So maybe if you take an example, okay, unit test can be just a click function. So whether it is able to click or not, he will check. And so next, component testing. So component testing means there is a lot of components, right? Login module. For example, if you take a e-commerce website, so Amazon, if you take, right? If you take Amazon, you can see here a lot of uh, components. You have a login module, Then you have a cart, right? Add to cart. Then you have orders, right? Different orders. So a lot of modules are there. This is the search module, okay? Search module. So and personal details module. So many modules will be there. So that component testing means testing independent modules of the application, whether that module is functionally working or not. The functionality will check. So, right, you are going to check the functionality. So each functionality, each module functionality you have to check. For example, search module. Search module functionality what? If you give a correct keyword, it should display that results, right? That's what the search module. So if you click on login module, so you will get some username passwords. You have to give that. It should be able to log in successfully. That's a login module functionality. So maybe you can write a positive, negative test case, all those things again, right? And so that should work as per your expectation. That's the component testing, means particular component you are going to test. That's a component testing. See here, if you observe this, see login module. So browse a product, add to cart, payment, and confirmation. So these are all different modules. So not combined. So individual modules, you will test them. Individual modules, you will test them. You will test individual modules. Just 1 minute.
Sure.
So here, each module, okay, so separately we'll test it. So in this each module we'll test what are the things you need to consider. UI part, UI is accessible and usable or not, you have to check the first thing. So user friendly or not, you have to check. And then page loading. So to ensure the performance, page loading performance, you have to check. So login functionality, you have to check with the valid and invalid user credentials. Just if you take a login separately. So these are the 3 kinds of testings you have to perform. So UI, all the look and feel is good or bad, and so alignment is proper or not. So you have to check in that. So UI part. And page loading. Page loading means whether the page is properly loading and it's not taking much time. That performance you have to check. And login functionally with invalid and valid user credentials. So you try to give valid username and invalid credentials. So when you give valid credentials, it should log in. If you give invalid credentials, it should not log in. Okay, so that is the main difference between valid and invalid credentials, how you can check in each module. So this is just a sample I have given for one component. Like that, component testing means only that component you will focus. That's the component testing means. Is this clear?
So far, but just a quick doubt with the unit testing versus component. Like, how is it?
No.
Like unit testing, you said is micro.
So unit testing is nothing but the developer side, the code he has written, right? For example, you see this is the one function. This is the one function. He will test only this function is working or not by writing his own code. You are not going to test it. You are not part of that unit testing.
Got it.
So that is a developer side work.
Mm-hmm.
So you are never going to involve in the unit testing.
Mm-hmm.
So your actual testing starts with the component testing only.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Individual components, you will write a test cases. You will write so all the positive, negative test cases. Once you get the build, you will execute them.
Okay. Got it.
Right? But
Yeah.
while doing, you have to consider all these three types.
Mm-hmm.
What is the UI functionality? UI means look and
User
feel.
interface. Yeah.
User interface, look
Mm-hmm.
and feel, how user friendly it is, alignment is proper or not. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so placement of the labels are proper or not, the spacing all proper or not, there are no spelling mistakes. So these are the things you will check in the UI part. And functionality wise means if you give a valid username, whether it is working or not. If you give invalid username, it should throw error for you, saying that invalid username provided. That's what you're going to check. Is this clear?
Got it.
Functionality.
Yep.
Functionality means that should work or not.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it is working or not, you will check. That's a
Mm-hmm.
functional testing or functionality of the particular entity in the application, particular module. In the module, there will be so many, right? There will be many.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the component testing. Now, so suppose you tested a login, but I tested a search a functionality. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
else tested so add to cart. Somebody else tested payment. So now you need to combine all of them, right? That is called integration testing. Integration testing means the individual components are combined together as a single unit. So before application development, everything is independent modules. Then independently the components are tested by different testers. The testing is done. Now they want to combine. That is called integration testing. What is happening in the integration testing? You combine all the code, different modules code as a single unit. Now check the data is flowing from one module to other module or not. Suppose, for example, if I select, suppose I have given, right, iPhone, okay? So iPhone, I just selected, okay? So this product I selected. So where it went, from results to details page it has come. Now I am adding to cart. Now where it is, it has gone to, see, add to cart page. That is the data flow. So where you added the product to, you added the product in the detail space, but it went to cart page. The cart, so this cart has, so right, this cart has same product or not, you have to check. So same product or not, you can check. Same product, same price is whatever shown in the result space is showing or not, you can check. That is the so cart page. So now it is moving, right? The data moving from search results to add to cart page. So that is the data flow. And when you proceed to checkout, same price, this price it should show. This price it should show. So that's a data flow from one module to other module is happening or not. You will check as part of integration testing. Is this clear?
Yep. Clear so far.
Yeah.
Yes, it's clear. Yeah. Thank you.
So that is the how you can check as part of integration. Always remember in the integration, so the data is flowing from one module to other module or not when you are moving to different pages. Here, nothing but pages, different pages, right? Different pages. See, now I can add a product, but I can go to cart page. This is the cart page, add to cart page. So that's the cart page, how it is working. So this is the, integration testing means. Then we have a, so in the integration, so you don't need to worry about all this, how developers will join the modules. That's what this top-down approach, bottom-up approach, hybrid approach, they will follow, sandwich approach or system approach, okay? So basically, let me give you a high level. Top-down approach means the developers will develop main module first, then sub-modules, no? At least one sub-module will be under development still, not completed. Such cases, first main module will be connected with the completed one, and other module also connected with a one stub. So with a non-completed one. So this stub, when you click on this, it will throw error, right? If you are developing. So what they will do, they will redirect the action to main module instead of going to here. So that is this stub will do. So that's a top-down approach. That means connecting from main module to sub-modules. Main. So that's a top-down approach. That's how they will join the modules, the integration, how they will do that. But now nobody using these approaches. All will use system approach. This is the bottom approach means, that means main module is still under development. These two are completed. Now, when you're joining, so you will add a driver, a third-party program. So this driver will redirect the control to this submodules instead of development one, which is under development. That's a bottom-up approach. So hybrid approach is just from bottom and top you are going to join the modules. That's hybrid or sandwich approach. But many people are using this one only, system approach. System approach means programmers interconnect the programs after completion of all the modules and unit testing. Completing all the module development to unit testing, then only this is, so all will be joined. That's that entire code will be deployed in the integration environment. So nowadays, integration environment, people won't maintain. Directly, they are going for the staging environment. That is system testing. Suppose, what is mean by build means, if anybody asks you, a collection of all the code, collection of all the modules code is called a build. So a finally integrated set of all programs is called build, or AUT, application under testing. Application under testing. So that's the build means. And people mostly will talk, build is ready, please start testing, right? So that's a build means. So a combined code so will be deployed in the environments. That is called build or application under testing. So system testing. System testing means basically system testing is a whole application. So what are the features or modules, everything has to be released. That entire thing will be deployed in one environment. That is called staging environment. So where you will focus mainly on the functional requirements. The requirements are fulfilled or not, you will test again one more time. That's a system testing. So this is also called black box testing. So testing the whole application against the functional requirement document. So what you can say, what is meant by system testing? Testing the whole application against the requirement document. That means against your test cases. You will write a test cases, right, based on the requirement. That is called system testing or black box testing, we call this. So in the black box testing, as I mentioned, you will do user interface testing, you will check look and feel, spelling mistakes, alignment, consistency, tab order are there. That's a user interface testing main what you need to check. Checklist. These are the checklist you need to focus. Positive testing means testing the application by inputting a valid data and positive functional flow. That is called positive testing or a happy path testing, we call that. So entering a valid username and a valid password in a login section. That's an example for positive testing, right? For example, you're going for ATM, you're just entering a valid card and selecting proper account, and then so selecting a language and correct pin entering, selecting a amount, proper amount, the balance below only you have to say enter that. That's one positive flow, positive functional flow. You're not so not rejecting anywhere. That entire positive flow is called positive testing. That functional flow. So that is what. But again, you are giving invalid PIN, invalid account type yourself. That's a negative test case. So negative testing means, so it is performed with a negative or incorrect data or invalid data or invalid input. You are going to check that. So that is called negative testing or invalid testing. So basically it validates the system or application when you input the invalid data, whether it is behaving correct behavior or not, whether it is throwing proper error message or not, you will check in the negative testing. So more, corner cases, so you will get more bugs here also. The reason behind this is the developers won't maintain all proper code here. So they will miss some of the cases. Such cases, you can get the more bugs here. So that's why you have to test negative testing also important. First, you have to test positive testing. Then you will test a negative testing. At least make sure your application is working positive flow. Then go for the negative flow. So that's the order. So example for a negative testing is provide invalid username, password, then submit the login button. Then see how your system behaves. So it should not log in, right? It should throw appropriate error message. If you're not throwing error message also, that's a bug. If it is logging in means that is a bug. For invalid username, it is logging means that's a bug. It should not log in. Okay, so these are all the things you should be very observable and watch carefully while testing. So how application behavior. So is it deviating for the expectations or not? You need to check. So that is the one examples you can see. So functional testing means this all I have given already. So these are the password, login button, all this. Okay, just go through this. Just I already explained that. Okay.
Will do.
So next, end-to-end testing. So end-to-end testing means it's similar to system testing, but end-to-end testing is a kind of, you will start somewhere and end complete part. Suppose you want to order a product. So what you will do, you will log into Amazon, right? And then you will go and search for the product, and then you will add to the cart, then you will check out, then so you will enter your address details, then you will enter the payment details, and then so once payment is done, the confirmation will go. That's a one end-to-end flow. Okay. Suppose you take a Gmail, right? Sorry, before going for Gmail, here only I need to give. So the end-to-end testing of the product. See, you are interacting with the database. Why? You are getting the credentials from the database only when you're entering the username password. Okay, that's one thing. And also, you are adding the product to the cart, or you are searching the product. That is interacting with the business logic area, application server. It is interacting with the application server. And before I told you the credentials it is getting from database. That means it is hitting the database server. And so then you add a number of products, right? And the amount it is showing, that amount it is paying, all that is the checking in the code. So it is paying properly or not, you're getting confirmation or this all interacting with the application server code. The business logic it is executing. Then you will get an order, right? Order ID last at the end. The order ID will go and store in the database tables. So that means it is interacting with the database. So this is the complete end-to-end flow. So you will see that is called end-to-end testing. But system testing means maybe you can test only one module and then another module. So maybe that. So integration means the data flow. But end-to-end testing is you start somewhere and end somewhere else. So the complete flow, you will finish it. So like, if you take a Gmail, so you log in and you want to send a mail. So log in and send a mail and log out. That's one end-to-end flow. Or you want to check mails, log in, check the mail, log out. That's another end-to-end flow. Log in and just, so draft the email, leave it, log out. So the draft should save there. So that's one end-to-end flow. So like this, you can have a different end-to-end scenarios. So you start somewhere, you will end somewhere. So that is called end-to-end testing. Basically, it is going to interact with the different components of the application. So different components means I already told application architecture, right? Web server, application server, and database server, right? These are the different components. So when you are hitting from the UI also, it should interact with the different components. Web server first, then application server. When logic want to execute, it will go to the application server. When the data has to fetch from the database, it will go to database server. So that is the different components of the application is touch base or not. You will check in the end-to-end testing. Okay, so are you clear?
Yes, so far.
Yeah. So next, acceptance testing. So acceptance testing means the final one, the final, the end user is accepting your application or not. Before you are submitting or you're deploying and you're saying, I have done my testing and development, everything is done. You are handovering to customer, right? And he will test one more time whether all his requirements are fulfilled or not. So before accepting the application, he will test one more time. That is called user acceptance testing or acceptance testing, we call that. So acceptance testing, there are two types. One is alpha testing and beta testing. So alpha testing means this alpha testing takes place in the company itself by the senior managers, product owners. So those people, the QA senior test lead or manager will participate in this company inside UAT testing. We call that user acceptance testing. We call that. So they will check all the high level use cases. So before handover to the customer. Okay, so that is called alpha testing. And once it is done, you tested and all are working, then you will hand over to customer. That is called beta testing, means it is tested outside the company. That means you have deployed the code and given the environment to customer people, so business people. So they will check how application is behaving. So with the new functionality, whatever they are expecting. So if it is not working, then they will raise a bugs. And if they want any uh, improvements, they will raise that improvements and they will discuss them with the company people. That's how the testing different levels will happen. Then finally, if all accepts, then it will be released. That's the final deployment will happen to production. So once everything is agreed and it's working as per expectation, you will do that. Okay. So any questions?
No, so far it's good.
Okay. So let's join back and we'll discuss on test plan. Okay.
Yeah.